Whoa. Hello and welcome to the next episode of The World God Only Knows Goddesses, this one titled Show Me. This was a really entertaining episode, very, very upbeat, especially considering all that's happened in the past few episodes. Before I dive in, I want to apologize again for being a day late on this one. I had some time to watch this. I could have done the video and everything yesterday when it came out. However, I was not in the best of moods, and I didn't want that negativity to interfere with the video, because I like to try and keep things a little upbeat, because you always see reviewers and everyone out there always being so negative. I like to keep things a little upbeat. That's why I primarily do videos on shows that I really like. So if you remember from the end of the last episode, Katsuragi called Ayumi while Chihiro was right there with them, saying that he was coming over to confess to her, and that's this episode. This episode is him going to her house, confessing. There's a lot of side boob at the very beginning of this episode. Just fair warning if you're watching this at home and your parents are going to be like, that's a lot of side boob. So yeah, very entertaining the way he goes about this, because he's trying to take her, he's trying to do the full-fledged dating sim, like going to each specific stereotypical location, doing all of the stereotypical lines. He's trying to do all this in the time span of probably a half an hour or an hour or so. He's rushing her off to places and trying to get her, because he says that her romance meter's is high enough. He just needs to make sure everything's done right. There does come some conflict between him and Chihiro, because Chihiro does learn about everything. At least from what I could tell, she now knows the whole situation, because Hakua's been explaining it to her. However, she doesn't see that as an excuse. She's like, yeah, I know this is it, but this is Ayumi. She's a good person, so you're going to have to be honest with her. You're actually going to have to love her. To the point where she's even interfering with Katsuragi's conquering, which, good for her. I mean, yeah, it's pushing back this incredibly deadline-ish type thing, like, you need to do this now. It's halting that, but this girl had her heart broken by the dude, and she's not doing it for revenge. She's actually doing it because she is such a good friend to Ayumi. This episode ends on a really, really fun but very intriguing note too, because it goes straight from Ayumi saying Katsuragi has to marry her in order to prove that he loves her. There's a whole little bit there, they're continuously trying to outdo who's actually more in love and whatnot, or who's she keeps saying, you need to do this to prove that you're in love, and he doesn't, and she's like, what? You need to do this to prove that you're in love. Continuous arbitrary standards and everything going on, and she just keeps changing it and upping it, to the point where she even takes him to her house and tells her parents that they're getting married. And he is so prepared, so on the ball for all of this, that he immediately rips off a cloak and it turns into a wedding dress, takes off his cloak and turns into a big old white tuxedo and everything. It's like he foresaw this entire event and he got everything prepared, which is hilarious to watch, especially since she's constantly getting more and more funny with every time he proves it to her that he loves her. It's really fun to watch, really shenanigan-full and just upbeat. The episode does, however, end off on a rather complicated note, because Ayumi's bolted off saying, you want to marry me? We have to be in a romantic area. She takes the wedding dress and she bolts. They have Nora follow her. Something happens to Nora. And Chihiro, Katsuragi, and Hakua are discovered by Scientist Demon, little demon girl with the horns and everything, the one that, pretty sure it's the one she stabbed Kanon in the beginning of the season. It's that demon, the one who's been pretty much running everything in that rock island in the background of the show and everything. And Katsuragi and Chihiro run after Ayumi while Hakua stays to fight this demon. And one of the last things you see is zoom in on that demon's mouth as she gets this big ol' evil grin. And so I'm really hoping in the next episode we will actually see a fight. We won't be like, just see like the result of a fight. I want to see a fight between these two demons, because that would be really freaking awesome. Especially considering we've already seen how talented Hakwa is, and this demon's obviously not scared of her. So yeah, very exciting. If this season is taking the same length of time as the previous seasons, that means we only got one episode left, and I'm wondering how much they're going to be able to accomplish in one episode. What would be really awesome is if it's a longer one, like if it was its own OVA that they released alongside the season. That would be a pretty good finish. So yeah, I'm really not sure what they're going to do, but I am excited to watch it next week, so not sure what I'm going to do for mini impressions after that. I don't think there's any new shows coming out anytime soon. But yeah, see you all next week.